We are getting live just shortly, but so much excited to have everyone. We look forward to you could just be able to just put in the chat box what your expectations as we even get on uh, live. So yes, here we are. Just shortly, we are live. Over to you, Anifa. We look forward to.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning once again. For all those who are watching us live from YouTube, you are very welcome. Thank you for joining in. This is going to be a very influential event, and the decision you've made to be with us today from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. is one that I'm very sure will be life-changing. So you're very welcome. Thank you for joining in, and I'm very sure that we are going to have a very beneficial morning together. My name is Hanifa. Once again, my name is Hanifa Mpata Namugwana. I am a lecturer at Makerere University Business School, and I am also a self-leadership and personal leadership mentor, as well as a mindset mentor. So for all people who are looking towards improving yourselves professionally or even seeking mentorship, I want to assure you that the Transformational Professionals Club is the best place for you to be at the moment. This event is organized and put together by the club, and we shall be listening in from our founder in a few minutes to come. We shall be listening in from our founder, and we have a cocktail of amazing speakers and amazing stories that we're going to listen from today. So please ensure that you remain tuned and you do not touch any of the items on your screen, such that you can be able to benefit from each and every single thing that's going to be shared here today. So as we know, when it comes to career growth, change, development, this is something that is extremely paramount to each and every single one of us. Even if we are tempted to dodge it, even if we are tempted to imagine that, we just can't mind about it so much, career is something that puts food on our tables, each and every single one of us in different spheres. And so the professionalism that we're able to portray becomes extremely critical every single time. And therefore, when people seek mentorship or when you seek guidance when it comes to your professionalism or your career, you're really doing the very best thing for you. So in today's very dynamic world, it's important to know that navigating our careers and skills, as well as seeking clarity of purpose and the willingness to embrace transformation is extremely critical. And this is what our esteemed speakers are going to share with us today, because they've walked these paths and they bring with them a wealth of experience, insights, and actionable advice that will be able to inspire and guide us. So before we begin, I just want to extend another warm welcome to each and every single one of you for taking the time to be a part of this conversation, for ensuring that your presence is paramount. It reflects commitment. It reflects a desire to improve, a desire to change, a desire to transform, or even transit, depending on where it is that you are in your career. And I know that this will be a very enriching conversation. Please ensure that you have a notebook with you. You are prepared to take notes. You are prepared to ask questions, listen intently, pick out the best lessons, such that this journey that we've started all together can be extremely beneficial, okay? Once again, you're very welcome. I noticed that our speakers are around. You're very welcome. Miss Diana Muhaire, who is a certified journalist in the near future. We're going to have, who is also going to be sharing with us about the power of mentorship. This is an amazing cocktail of speakers, like I've told you. So please, you have to stay tuned and to listen from Mr. Yesiji Brian about the entrepreneurship journey, and really very welcome. At this point, I'd like to listen from, he happens to be our our founder coach for the program, comes to the Transformational Professionals Club. How do we get to this point, having our first launch event here today on the 14th? What did it take and how have we gotten to this point? Coach Samuel, you are welcome. Kindly come through, switch on your video and share with us about the Transformational Professionals Club. Thank you very much.
All right. So thank you so much, Hanifa. Thank you so much, our dear speakers. And thank you so much to our audience, the audience that is joining this via Zoom, as well as the audience that is joining this via YouTube. Either you're watching a replay or you're part of the live event. I really want to welcome you to this noble moment. This is something that has come to really happen after a long wait. I know we have some mothers here, and it's an experience of waiting for that child to be born. And here we are seeing the Transformation Professionals Club coming to happen. Uh, this idea started long time ago, and it really cascades to my journey. So for those that could be either this is your first time interfacing with Coach Samuel Evander, so um, I'm a finance and accounting profession, but I'm very passionate about coaching and mentorship, and I've impacted quite a number of people and been able to see great impact in quite a number of them. So today, as we launch the Transformation Professionals Club, we are here to start on a journey of transformation. When we speak about transformation, it's continuous growth. It is continuous becoming better. It's a journey of learning, a journey of becoming better every day. Now, the world is moving at a very faster pace, and we cannot do anything unless we also act up and become transformed. We transform ourselves. Now, I've been very lucky to have had access to great mentors, and I'm very proud to see that some of my mentors are on this platform. I've been able to go through organizations, been able to grow, and there are quite a number of things that have helped along this journey. And there are also things that have helped you along the journey. Here we are to say, how can we grow together, and how can we be able to tap into our being in numbers, and how can we be able to leverage on the opportunities that each one of us have to be able to support each other, to be able to grow. So there are quite a number of different platforms. There are quite a number of, let's say, clubs that are out there. But we felt that there was something that was actually missing when it came to the Transformation Professionals Club, whatever we are standing out for. And I just want to share something on my screen that is able to give us an idea in regards to why this noble cause. So just let me just try to share something. All right. So when you see my screen, it shows an elephant. So we have different people who are blinded. Basically, all of them are touching the elephant, and they're trying to find out what am I exactly touching? Because they are so blind, they are all figuring out even whatever they are touching. Someone feels like it's a wall, another feels like it's a tree, another one feels like, oh, this could actually be an animal. So everyone is trying to figure out this whole thing. Now, because they are blind, they cannot be able to comprehend the power in being a community. If at all they actually knew that, okay, we are here not as alone, you could be able to appreciate whatever everyone is touching, and that knowledge could be able to encompass and help you understand that actually this is an elephant that we are touching. And that would solve a lot when it comes to your journey. It will quicken the process of even figuring out what are you exactly touching. So that is the notion of community. Being able to be in the place that adds value to you as an individual, but is also helping another person to be able to grow through. So when I think about community, I think about an environment that is going to help us connect, because there is power in numbers. I'm thinking about a community that's going to help us learn. Now, I already mentioned that the world is moving at a very faster pace. And that means that we have to embrace continuous learning, like life learning. So this community is more giving us a platform to be able to learn. And we're not just learning theory things, because I know we went through universities and we learned quite a number of things. Here we are trying to learn practical things. We have great mentors that we have that have not walked just the theoretical journey, but mentors that have walked a practical journey. The years that they have taken to run whatever they have run. I have one of my mentors here who will be speaking to us, Yesije Bravo. He's been able to run his company for quite a number of years. The mistakes that he did, you should not go through them, because he's here to share his journey. Diana Muhairi is here to share with you her journey of self-awareness, of being able to know that, okay, I'm a teacher, but this teaching is beyond just the teaching. I'm called to a space to inspire, to transform. And she'll be able to share with you how she left her job, teaching job, whether she was teaching physics, to now be a person who now transforms lives as a John Maxwell coach. Quite brilliant. And for me, even having Anifa Mpata as our moderator is key to this message, because transformation reflects in her life, and the passion she has for young people, even being a lecturer. I think for us, that even sets a pace, and I really look forward to how this session will really go. And having also our own Bonnie Kagaba. I met Bonnie Kagaba while he was joining university as a fresh graduate. In his first week, we had a conversation with him, a conversation that transformed his life. He's one of my successes, and seeing him transformed, leading one of fast growing tourism companies in Uganda, as well as trying to tap into the global space, being a lecturer now, being a thought leader in the entrepreneurship space. I think for me, that gives me pride that I'm not just growing alone, but I'm taking other people along the journey. The people that have helped me to grow along the journey, I'm not just leaving them to myself, but these are people that I'm bringing to this space to help others to be able to grow, to be able to quicken the process, to quicken this whole journey, knowing that it's not going to take you long, because there are quite a number of people that have given up on life. You have searched for a job and it has failed. So what next? So the Transformation Professionals Club is here to hold your hand, to tell you that you're not wrong. It's not about your background. To tell you that whatever you're going through, somebody else has gone through the same journey and they were able to navigate through. So there is a lot of inspirations that we'll be able to get along this journey. And believe me, you will not be the same. You will not be the same. So we are going to learn. And like I said, we are going to connect. We are going to learn. But through the learning, we want to grow. We do not want to remain the same because the world has quite a number of opportunities. Even as we think about artificial intelligence, we think about how content creation has taken over, how media has changed, how the workplace has changed. These are opportunities for us. And today, you're going to be able to get initiated into a journey that is going to transform your life because you have great mentors. You have people that have walked your journey. One of the mentors yesterday, I was meeting one of my mentors who is leading one of the fast growing companies in over 23 countries. And he has accepted to come and mentor us. He's a board member across different boards, including Nation Media Group, including Clark University, quite a number of organizations, and he has passion for young people. But the question is, where are the young people that are hungry for learning? Where are those young people? And the Transformation Professionals Club is bringing you together. It doesn't matter about your age. And this is not just for people who are either in their 20s or 30s. This is even for you who is in your 40, who wants to get the best out of your life. Because we are here for a very short time and we do not want to waste any point in time. We want to live a transformed journey that is going to leave a mark on this world. And this is despite whatever environment we are in, whatever economy we are in, whatever political structure we are in, we must thrive. We must transform. Our children should not go through the same journey that we have gone through. Our children should be able to stand on our shoulders to be able to grow and explode. We have great business ideas in each one of you. We have successful careers in each one of you, and you can. My story is a story that depicts that you can. Recently, I was promoted to manager in at my workplace at KPMG, and for me, my growth has been a growth of learning, a growth of self-belief, a growth of knowing that I'm in this space. When I left the NGO world to join an organization like KPMG, I made a career switch because I knew this was my space. And I knew that I was to thrive. And I'm happy that today I'm not the way I was. So this space is to help you to be able to learn from my journey, to be able to know what is that I can pick to transform my journey. I'm stuck in my career. I've spent over 5 years, 3 years into the same position. I do not know what I'm doing wrong. I do not know what I can do better, become transformed. And I'm here to share my journey. Diana is here to share her journey, to pour herself into you. Having a John Maxwell's coach to come here and show up and share her message is not something we take lightly. There is a great investment that people have invested and they want to help you. The only ask they want from you is to be available, to be present in the moment, to have the self-belief that whatever is being mentioned is not just for Samuel, is not just for Diana, is not just for Hanifa, is not just for Bonnie, or just not for Yesije. It is something that is for you, and you can also be transformed and change your life. There is power in relationships. There is power in networks. There is power in being in the room with people that are on the same journey with you. And the Transformation Professionals Club is giving you this environment. This is a game changer for our generation. Even as everything is changing, this is our course. This is our fellowship. This is our umbrella that we are fronting to the world. I've gotten quite a number of people who reach out and say, I need somebody who can do this. We have this position we need to fill. We need somebody like you. And I'm stuck. I don't know where I can actually get these people. And I thought about this club and said, I need to bring people together. I need to mentor them. I need to bring other great mentors to help them. I need to be able to support them in their journey to see how can they grow, how can they become better. And at the end of the day, that is my purpose. That is the reason I was created. I was created to transform lives. What is your purpose? Why are you here? What have you come to do when it comes to this session? And what would you want to get out of here? So we are going to have an impactful session. Make sure you're not distracted. Make sure that you can be able to even watch this over and over. And if there is somebody whom you think can benefit from this session, I ask you to just take a pause and share that link. Share that link. Let's share the link. We have over 33 people here joining in, and this capacity is a capacity that can accommodate as many as possible. We grow when we start to help other people grow. There is a saying that if you help as many people to get what they want in life, it will be obviously possible that you'll be able to get the same. So let's not be selfish around the opportunities that we have. Let's share with others. Let's involve them. Let's get them into the room, because each one of us, we are a result of other people that have taken a chance on us. People that have believed in us even when they do not know. When I met Bravo, he did not know me, but he believed that I had something and he wanted to support and he wanted to be here. When I had a conversation with Diana about this mentorship, she said yes immediately. This is our space. This is an opportunity for us. Let's get into it. Let's see how we can transform our lives. Enough of being there, living in regret. As we close the year, the Transformation Professionals Club is launching you into your new self, into your better you, into your transformed you, where you're not just dependent on that job, where you're transforming even your financial journey, where you're starting the journey of building businesses that are going to last generations, where retirement will not be a worry for you because you are a transformed person who is going to change the world. But before we can change the world, we have to change we. We have to believe in we. We have to support we. We have to do great things as we. We have to overcome fear. We have to overcome limitations and believe that we are going to change the world. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I usher you and welcome you to the Transformation Professions Club. I am very certain this is the right moment for you. You have made the right decision. You're going to be proud of yourself. 14th of December 2024 is going to be written in your life story as a starting point in time for your transformed life, for the life that is going to change. And all this that I'm speaking about is God-led. We are here because God has chosen us for this moment to be able to grow. We were created to create transformation. We were created to create change. We were created to change the world. The life we looked at while we were growing up and said, in the future, I want to be this. In the future, I want to be this. This is the moment. This is the future. This is the beginning. And this is the transformation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Coach Samuel. Wow, I wish we could, if we could all give you a virtual hand clap, please let us do that. Thank you so very much. You've given us a very powerful introduction to the purpose and the goal of the Transformational Professionals Club. Thank you so much. I can assure you that, yes, please send him his flowers and the virtual hand claps in the chat. I can assure you that the one thing that really gets us as young people stuck along our journeys, or even the older people stuck in their journeys, are the level of excuses, but also sometimes the lack of mentorship, the lack of community, failing to understand that there is power in relationships, there is power in numbers. And that is what the Transformational Professionals Club is solving for us today, starting today, and hopefully for the rest of our lives. So thank you so very much. We really appreciate that. And I hope, I personally, my notebook is close to getting full. I honestly hope, like I told all of you, please ensure that you have that notebook. Take these notes, write down something, because having the opportunity to be in the presence of such great people like Coach Samuel, Mr. Yes Brian, Coach Diana, these are not small opportunities. Mr. Bonnie, this is an amazing opportunity. And for sure, we do not take it for granted. I am very certain that this is something that is indeed going to transform our lives. I want to assure all the speakers at the moment, I just want to let you know that the one thing that joins all of us here together today is our hunger. I loved it when Sam said you have to be hungry for knowledge. You know, sometimes you get stuck in a place where you keep on giving excuses. These days we have very many excuses. The economy ABC, the situation ABC, you know, life is hard as you see it. You know, in Uganda you can never do ABC. There are so many excuses most times. But the bigger question is, how hungry are you? How hungry are you to transform? How hungry are you to improve? How hungry are you really? Because when you become hungry enough, then you'll be ready to take the necessary steps. So I'm very sure that each and every single person on this call today is very hungry. Those who we are with on Zoom and those who are watching us via YouTube, I hope that your hunger has got you seated down somewhere, secluded, listening, yes? Not these things where you're on a call, but you're also doing some other things elsewhere. No, 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 no. Please ensure that you are seated somewhere with a notebook, ready to listen, ready to learn. I, for one, know that I am very hungry and very excited when it comes to this session and the future that the club has for us. So I honestly hope that we can all prioritize that today. Thank you so much, Coach Samuel. I think he might have gone off shortly, but as we prepare to invite Miss Diana.
I'm on. No worries.
Oh, okay. I see you. All right. Thank you so much. I know that as we proceed later on in the session, you'll share with us more about how it is that within the Transformational Professionals Club, we are going to achieve these goals. There are modules, how we're going to achieve these different learning points, because everyone has a different need, like you said. Some people are stuck and they want to change. Some people want to improve in what they're doing. Some people want to excel. They've achieved a certain level and now they want to excel. Some people want to do a complete switch, okay? They want to transit. Some people simply want to do better in their careers or as professionals, okay? So maybe as we proceed later on, I'm sure that you'll share with us more about that. Otherwise, please feel free to make use of the chat, communicate and share. How do you feel about what Coach Samuel has said? And what do you hope to learn from the different speakers? So for the next bit of our session, we are very excited to invite Ms. Diana Muhaire, who is a certified John Maxwell coach, and she will share with us more about her journey. She's going to be sharing with us about purpose and self-awareness. And these are things that are very critical for any person who is thinking about their professional journey, their career journey. This is extremely critical. And Ms. Diana Muhaire, we are very excited to have you and happy to hear from you. Please take on the floor right this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanifa. Thank you, Samuel. Good morning, everyone. I just need a hands up, Hanifa, if I am clear enough.
Very clear on my side.
Excellent. Good morning.
Yes, we can hear you.
So glad.
Yes, we can hear you, Diana.
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Rosette. So happy to be here. And I am really, really excited that this dream has finally come to, to be established. And I want to congratulate Samuel and the many brains behind this. As you have heard, my name is Diana Muhire, a certified John Maxwell team member. I am a speaker, coach, and a trainer, but as well, I am a Maxwell DISC consultant. DISC is a behavioral method, one of the behavioral methods that we use to assess behavior. And along the way, we will get to know much more about that. I am a mother of 3 and I am married to Erasmus Muhere, and I am very, very delighted to be here. One of the other things I do as well is preparing people to have lasting and long, thriving marriages. I do that on a voluntary basis together with my husband, where we pray from many things that you will meet me doing. But for today, that is going to be sufficient. So I just want to begin by asking us a simple question. Have you ever felt like you're on a treadmill? You are running but not moving. If you have ever felt like that, type yes in the chat. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Fiona. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Edith. Thank you. Great. So looks like I have a number of people that have felt the way I felt a number of years ago. And it does get hurting. That's right, Kasegu. That was me a number of years ago. And I'm going to share with you that journey, how I felt like I was moving on a treadmill. So I was on a stable job. Like Samuel told you, I was teaching, I was trained to teach physics and mathematics. I was really, really stable, getting a stable salary, and life was okay. And I had a stable, predictable routine, stable salary, stable everything. That particular year is when that's when I lost my parents, both in the same year. That's the year when I lost our babies, our twins. That's the year we lost financial, stability. Life was okay. Life was moving. As you can see, I could be able to put on a face, and it's as though things were okay. But I must tell you, just like one of us has mentioned that it can be hurting, I felt like I was on a treadmill. I felt like I was on a treadmill. I was moving. I had all these responsibilities, around me. And inside, I was beyond hurting. So my life came on a standstill in that moment. And that's when I started asking myself a question. that if I didn't have this job, if I didn't have kids, if I wasn't married, if I didn't have any money, who would I still be? And that's a question as we go along this journey in the next few minutes that I will be here with you. It's a question that I want us to think about, to reflect on. Who are you without a job, without money, without a business, without that title, without anything external? Who are you? So for me, it's in that time when I seriously started having introspection. It's in that time that I was like, okay, come on, Diana. Who are you? Without saying I am a teacher, I go to school and I'm, sharing knowledge. Who are you without you being a daughter of so and so, being a wife of so, So I started looking for things that would define me, things that were permanent, things that no one would take from me, things that not even COVID would actually take away from me. And that question changed the way I looked at everything. That's when I realized that indeed, purpose is not about what you do or what you have. It's about who you are. So let me know in the chat, what's that one word you would want people to use to describe you? Teachers ask very many questions. So just help me type in the chat. What is that one word that you would want people to describe you? At the core, do not think about your job. Don't think about anything that you have. Thank you, Edith, an encourager, a person of faith. Excellent, excellent. I love Solomon is saying kind, excellent. This is good. This is good. Keep the answers coming. What is that one word that you would want people to describe you at your core? Inspirational, that is angel. Bob says approachable, excellent. Fiona, loving. Thank you so much. Keep the answers coming. Now we have already started on our self-discovery journey. Committed, loving, hope giver, thank you, caring. This is good. I love it. I love it. I love it. An influencer, Juliet, thank you. Thank you very much. Keep the answers coming. They are lovely. They are lovely. So that's the other question that I asked myself right in that pit. Right in that pit. Maxwell says that nobody finishes well by accident. Yeah. And when you come to think about that, you have stable everything. Maybe right now you might be looking at switching careers. I mean, the waters as not as turbulent as maybe I have started with, with part of my story. So in the moment when you are pursuing career mentorship, you're pursuing career success, you're pursuing fulfillment, you're pursuing purpose, it's very important to think about what Maxwell says, that nobody really finishes well by accident. There's need for you to be more intentional than you have been doing. I think it's Zig Ziglar that says that It's only a fool that expects to get different results when they have been doing the same thing over and over again. So my mentor is just saying there's need to be more intentional. And maybe this is one of the reasons why we are here today, to pursue mentorship, try to learn how have other people done, what has brought them success, how are other people doing it out there, and learn things that could have contributed to our being stuck, and so much that we will get from the TPC Club. So I realized that I needed to start adding value to myself in the areas that I had discovered in the previous question. And this is a question that I had to answer. And some of the things, by the way, I didn't know. I had to ask my friends, who am I? What would you say to describe me? What is that one thing that makes you, want to connect with me, want never to leave my space? And some of the things I didn't know, I was shocked. And some of the people I asked were my students, for both the good and the constructive feedback. So I started building on those things. I started being more intentional about, just a minute, a safety, just. Sorry. So my husband was ironing. He left the flat iron and it was about to burn his shirt. I needed to address that. So back to what I was saying. So I had to realize, like most of us were saying, I am an encourager, I am kind, or, I want to be said that I am an influencer, I am this person who you run to, who is committed, who is loyal. I started looking for ways of building onto that. Now, that year was 2013. One of the things that I discovered about myself was that I wanted to see people happy. I wanted to see people, not in relationships, just because they've been forced. I wanted people who were thriving. And when an opportunity came at church where we pray from to volunteer, to start preparing couples, we take them through 3 months of preparation. We talk about all sorts of things. We had made mistakes in our own marriage, and we're like, we can help people. Now that's my heart of helping. So I took on that, and we were trained. We skilled our gifts, part of our gifts. We started skilling them. And that is the first step. Realizing who you are, what you are, yeah, and starting skilling it. So for me, that was my first step. Now, a number of us want to pursue success. And when you are thinking about what would you want to be remembered for, it's much more than success. I want to be remembered as someone who empowered people to discover who they were, who worked with people in unleashing their potential, in discovering their purposes, in becoming better, in achieving more, and so much and so forth. But that cannot just happen if I do not work at that. When you are thinking about purpose, it is just beyond you. Purpose is always never about you. Success is everything about you. Grow yourself, get a job for yourself, earn income for yourself and for yourself. It starts and ends with you. But if we are looking about purpose, we are looking at other people. So we are looking at growing things within us, those good qualities within us that will empower us to serve others better, that will empower us to add value to others. So purpose is significance. Purpose is about empowering others to be better. It's about adding value to others. So, and I know, I sense that most of us in the room are good people. And purpose, as complicated as it may sound, I want to tell you this morning that purpose is very, very simple. It starts with the smallest of things. And let me see. Have you ever done something small for someone, or just acted, just had a small act, something small, as simple as smiling, as simple as saying good morning, as simple as picking a piece of paper that could have fallen down and given it to someone. Just help me type in the chat. Simple acts of kindness. Simple acts of, can I help you? Yeah? Just helping someone even correct an error. And I know most of us here could be coming from the finance, the accounting area. So you're very good with correcting numbers. Something as simple as correcting a 9 to a 6, and someone is appreciative, and it's as though you have handed them $1 million. As simple as that. Purpose means being very intentional, being very present in every minute, adding value to someone every day. Now, when most of us hear about purpose, we think about, shifting entirely from what we are doing to a whole new different thing. I would say yes and no. Sometimes it's going to require you, depending on the conviction in your heart and the hunger, but sometimes it's not necessary. You can do your purpose right where we are. And an example is Coach Samuel, who is doing what he is called to do, what he feels in his heart he is called to do, but without leaving his formal job. So in a minute, in a second, I want to ask you to do something for me very small. I want you to close your eyes. For some of us, I can imagine what is going through our mind, but I want you to close your eyes. Or keep them open, but just concentrate. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. And like Hanifa told us, I hope we have our notebooks. Just imagine yourself 10 years from now. What are you doing 10 years from now? This is 2024. Now that means it's 2034. What are you doing? Who are you helping? And how do you feel about what you are doing presently? Are you the person that you hoped to become? Now you can open your eyes if they were closed, or stay with me if they were open. And type for us one thing in the chat, one thing that has excited you in your 10-year journey. Ow. Great, great. Wow. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Wow. This is very interesting, very interesting. I can't read everything in the chat. I can't read it, but it's very, very interesting. Wow. Helping organizations help, value to people by guiding them, right? Having a wife and a kid, inshallah. Yes. Professional skills development. This is beautiful. Being financially independent. Keep the comments coming. Keep the comments coming. This is so lovely. So lovely. So lovely. Okay. Now, what is the first step that you are willing to do or commit today to in order to realize that you just saw? I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think about that first step. What is that first step that you are willing to take today in order to realize or actualize what you just saw? Feel free to type it if you are okay. Okay, find a career coach and mentors. That is Charity. Thank you, Charity, for sharing. Fiona says, get a job. Great. Great. Help people, business, and the economy grow. Okay. Okay. Type in the chat and let us know that one step that you're willing to commit to do. Bob, being very intentional is not a step. We need small steps. Okay? Right. Small steps. In order to achieve our purpose, in order to have meaningful careers or live a meaningful life, the first step is finding our reason in everything we do. And if you can find that reason, then you can start building it. The simple visualization exercise we just went through of 10 years is something that helps us imagine the kind of life you want to live. And I want to encourage you, be it in relationships, be it at work, be it in your spiritual lives, be it in your financial lives, I just want to encourage you to keep visualizing. If you can think it, then you can create it. And that's it about purpose. It's not so much about something that cannot be traced or something that you can ever put a finger to. It's more about being present, being mindful, being, having a reason why we do everything. Now, quickly, as we come to a close of this, I want to say something small about the transition. I did something very, very stupid. And I want to believe that it could have been out of my present mental state at the time. Like I've told you, I had just lost my parents same year, lost twins same year, and definitely I had nursed my mother for over a year due to cancer, and our finances were depleted. In fact, the following year, 1 year later, as we were still paying, I got another miscarriage. And so the career or the job that I was, excited, to do, when I started asking myself, who am I without all these? I started feeling that even amidst all this, I am something more. There's something beyond the walls in the classroom. And I kept looking at my life, my behavior towards situations, towards people, and I felt there was something more. But in order for me to achieve that something more, I didn't plan. I didn't plan. And I woke up one morning and I just handed in my resignation. The previous year, despite what I had gone through, I had been given an award for being the best mathematics teacher. And I had produced the best results in the school, since its existence. And I just resigned, thinking I was going to pursue my purpose. And that's not a mistake I want any of you to ever do, unless, your present conditions are really life-threatening. Now I know, because I was still able to transition from my wholesale and retail business in Chikubo, for those of us that know Chikubo, to now coaching and training and speaking. And because I had learned from my previous mistakes, I was now, the transition was really smooth. Very, very smooth. So I want to encourage us that even when we have convictions deep within us, even when we feel there is something more that we have to do outside our jobs, there is a way that you can actually move from what you're doing presently to what you feel like doing. And it starts with the smallest steps. And just as simple as hugging that person, some people are healed by hugs in our workplaces. Some people are healed by just giving them a listening ear. That is, if you feel that you want to be described as someone who paid attention to people's needs. If you feel you want to be remembered as someone who was committed, then start it where you are now. If you feel you want to be remembered as an encourager, you don't need to switch jobs. Start with the people where you are. By the way, the reality is, even when you switch, you will start with the people that you know. When I switched from my business, I started with the people in my circles. And that tells you that as you pursue purpose, you start where you are. So our relationships are important. And it's the people around you. Something in psychology that we discuss, we teach about in the Johari window. There is that window that you know nothing about, but the people around you know everything about it, almost. And they can help you discover it. And they will help you. I think maybe Samuel or our moderator mentioned about it. We need people. We cannot pursue our goals and dreams without other people. So purpose doesn't mean quitting your job. It means finding meaning in what you are already doing. The teachers shape futures. Business professionals like my brother Bravo, they solve problems. Accountants, yes, they make life better by helping other people not get arrested by the taxman. You know, it's not a giant leap. It's a series of small steps starting right where you are. So how do you start? Ask yourself these 3 questions and we'll close it. What are my gifts? Is question number 1. What are my gifts? Number 2, what breaks my heart? What breaks my heart? What are the things that you are so passionate about, in that when you don't see them in order or being done, your heart is literally broken. It's in shambles. You'll have a sleepless night over that. And number 3, who can I serve? Those 3 questions. What are your gifts? What are your strengths? What are your talents? What are your experiences? Okay, so merge those experiences, those gifts, and the things that break your heart, or the things that actually excite you, and look around who you can help using those things. You will have cracked the nut. So some of us believe, I was reading something, an article that I shared on my LinkedIn, I think last week, that was giving me the statistics that over 95% of us human beings think that we know who we are. But in that research, over 5,000 people, you know, only 10 to 15% had the average percentage of self-awareness. And it's true, as I continue coaching and training and speaking to people, it's true that most of us are not self-aware. When I ask people, when they come to me, what are your strengths? And you know, you see them beating around the bush and they do not know. So as we grow in our careers, as we grow wherever we are, may I remind us that before we even went to school, there is something that we were created with that was to enable us be the people that we were created to be. Our role is to discover that. And it's so easy to discover it. There is need for intentionality in pursuing our purposes, in discovering our gifts, in discovering our strengths. and it can be done every day. Finding purpose, self-discovery is a journey. I don't want to give you false hope that you're going to discover it in one day. Yes, we do assessments. There are assessments that we can do that can help you have a whole good glimpse of who you are. But even then, even when I have gone through them, I am still on a journey of discovering myself. But at least I have now a firm ground. So it's an everyday thing. Don't get disappointed when you do something and you're like, I didn't expect this. Okay? The only challenge I believe that we have is living in constant fear that we'll never, ever get to discover who we are, that we'll never, ever get to perfect our purpose, that we'll never, ever mature, to the expectations, of people, living in constant fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection. Those are the fears that we might be dealing with. And those are some of the fears, by the way, that I struggled with on my journey. And it's until I faced them and conquered them that I would embrace who God called me to be, that I would start, confidently helping others. So as we pursue our purpose, there's need to realize the barriers that stand ahead of us. As you pursue career progression, there's need to realize the barriers that stand ahead of you and coming up with a clear plan of dealing with them. So my final challenge to you is reflect on those 3 questions. Okay? What are your gifts? What breaks your heart? And who can you serve? Reflect on those 3 questions. And if possible, today, take one intentional step, just one intentional small step towards achieving or towards those 3 questions. Transformation will never, ever happen without action. And it doesn't matter if what you are focusing on is getting that elephant, that we started with, or if you're focusing on is an anthill. It doesn't matter. What matters is the small steps that we take every day. It doesn't have to be huge. Don't be trapped by perfection of waiting for you to find answers to everything or figuring out, that thing, figuring it out so well so that once you start, it's perfect and everyone goes, wow. No, you may never ever start. And here is a secret that I have discovered. Purpose grows when you give it away. Purpose grows when you give it away. As I share with you, I am growing. I am learning. I am reflecting. If at all you ever reach somewhere and feel lost on your way of purpose, just call me. I will celebrate with you because you're not at 0. You are just on the right way. There are times you're going to reach and feel a little lost. And that's where mentors come into play. That's where mentors come into play. That's where coaches, to just help you out of the confusion, come into play. Not to give you answers, but to help you unveil that in the moment is hidden away from you. And that's the gift that this club is going to give you. Remember that you have what it takes to find meaning, live intentionally, and make a difference. Nobody finishes well by accident. And thank you for listening to me. I'll hand over back to the moderator.
Thank you so very much, Diana. Thank you so much. I had already started on my virtual hand claps. I want to request the audience to go ahead and send in their appreciations and their hand claps. Thank you so much. You've really shared a number of powerful items. I've been noting, and I kept on noticing that I just kept on flipping pages. And I was starting to wonder, I'm like, is this notebook going to be enough, or should I send someone to the shop quickly? Because it's been very powerful. It's been very practical. Thank you so much. As we prepare, in case anyone has a question for Diana, we can give it about 3 to 5 minutes. Please send in your question in the chat. But I just want to mention some of my takeaways. First of all, it was very practical. When you asked us to close our eyes, we really closed our eyes. And we were thinking about it 10 years from now. You know, sometimes thinking about the future can be scary. It can be, you know, a bit jittery. You don't know, because now what happens when you think about the future is now it puts you on some sort of pressure to take on some serious steps, because now you don't want to let that vision go to waste. You have something to look forward to. But then you went ahead and even shared with us, how do we achieve that? Yeah. So thank you so much. You also mentioned that we need to be smart about our transitions. You know, your story is so powerful. The fact that there was that transition amidst all these different life challenges, you threw in the, you know, the towel just immediately. You didn't think too hard about it. And I think sometimes young people, or even like older people, tend to have a challenge. When they want something, so someone has attended a session, they feel empowered and they say, you know what? Coach Diana said, if you want something, go for it. And then before you know it, they've tailored in their resignation. They don't even have enough savings to maybe feed their family. And that's very dangerous. So thank you so much for that, because now we know that we do need to be smart with our transitions. And the fact that we can also find meaning in what we are doing. And you've given us examples. So like Coach Samuel, he is where he is in the very professional corporate world, but he's also finding meaning in what you're doing. See, sometimes people look at these jobs and they say, you know, you're an accountant and that sounds boring. They don't realize that accountants solve problems. They don't realize that teachers, you know, guide futures. They don't realize that. So there is a certain aspect in regards to what you're doing. How can you make sure that where you are, you're starting to set the pace for whatever it is that you want to transit to. In the future. And it's also very true. The fact that sometimes you can easily struggle, you are not certain, you know, you get jittery, you get scared, but that's where mentors come in. So I just want each and every single one of us here to be empowered and be certain that in the presence of mentors such as Diana, such as Brian, such as Bonnie, such as Coach Samuel, such as myself, you are in the right place. And I know that you've set us off on such an amazing pace, being self-aware and identifying our purpose. Thank you so very much, Diana. Thank you so very much. That was really powerful. Let me just quickly check if you have some questions in the chat. Yes, a number of people say, Philip says, this was a very interesting and encouraging presentation. Thank you so much, Dana. Someone is telling, someone is advising that they should get a counter book. Yeah, so that maybe that advice is good for me because I am already complaining about my notebook and it doesn't seem to be enough. So maybe I could just ask on behalf of those who are listening in, maybe from YouTube that might not have an opportunity, or they might be sharing. I think Coach Samuel is following that. So Diana, maybe I could just ask, how do you feel, and I know you might have shared, but how do you feel that transition changed you? How did you feel now when you look back and reflect on your life from a time where you were doing something that, you were like on a treadmill and it started to hurt, and then now where you are? Because sometimes people also wonder, if I follow my purpose, will it be worth it? Will I really look back and think, I really did the right thing? Or am I better off just remaining with what I know, what I understand? People prefer safety. Sometimes people are afraid to dip their feet in that cold water, murky waters. They're not certain. So I just wanted you to share with us, when you look at it now, do you think that was the best decision you took? Besides the dangerous transition that you made, would you say that it was worth it? Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Hanifa, for that great question. I will tell you that it was worth it, like really, really worth it. Why do I say this? One of the questions that I've asked us is finding what makes my heart bleed, what gives me pain, yeah? And for me, even if you gave me all the money and all the financial stability and all, the routines, and knowing that, okay, that I have a job that I'll wake up to in the morning, like I, I even have pension, that would be nothing, because I would live daily looking at my colleagues. First of, they do not even have an idea of who they are. So I do not want to see people who are not confident. It just aches my heart. I don't want to see people who are there and they are just lamenting, and it's as though that life has come to an end, like they have nothing. So for me, seeing myself solve these problems, empower people, seeing that people are, I am just living my dream. And it means everything to me. So it's been worth every sacrifice. It's been worth every investment. But I'll tell you, there is a price to pay. It's not a smooth road. It's not a smooth road. Never. It's not going to be smooth. And that's why I told you that along the way, you are going to walk and you'll feel lost a bit. Have I questioned my actions? Yes. I've reached moments where I'm like, did I really take the right decision? I am for sure that I took the right decision. But for me, I think the most bothering aspect was it the right time? Did I move at the right time? And you can wonder, when is the right time? The right time never comes. The right time never comes. And with the help of mentors and coaches, I've been able to get back on track. So yes, Hanifa, I hope that I've, you know, I love what I do. I really, really love what I do. It just brings me, it just brings me back. Even if I was not paid. And I will tell you that most mentors here will tell you that just holding someone's hand gives them something. And I think the right word is fulfillment, some level of fulfillment in that it's okay. It's okay. Don't give me anything, but let me see a life better. And that's me. That's me. So I
Thank you
am
so much. Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you so much. That's really powerful. Hearing from you, because you shared with us the other side and now on this side, it's very encouraging to know that it has been everything you wanted it to be. And that can really guide most of us in making that decision. Thank you so much. So we have two questions. We have a question from Silas. He says his question is, how can one tackle the fear of failure in professional life? That is Silas asking, how can one tackle the fear of failure in professional life? And we have Wabwire, who is asking, how does he change careers and what are some of the factors that he can consider before changing his career? Yes, so maybe Diana, about 2 minutes such that we can respond to those questions and then we can move on to the next session. Thank you so much.
okay. Fear of failure is real. And one, you need to know that partly it's going to be from a personality issue. And there may be some other causes, maybe out of experiences. So it's important, one, to assess where it's coming from. Assessing the root cause of your fear. It can be fear of failure, but like I've mentioned, assessing the root cause, you know, when you are very afraid of the possibility of failure that you'd rather not even try something, you know, and somewhere along the way, you want to play it safe. And that can be, it can be very detrimental to your purpose. So one, like I've mentioned, assess the root cause and start working on your mindsets, because some of our experiences are coming from points of the words that were said to us when we were growing up, or what your first boss, you know, kept telling you. So in your mind, it's been registered that you are a failure, that you can never make it. And so there is need to deal with that limiting belief and work on your mindset. There is a whole, you know, lot about working that. But also being kind enough to yourself. It's amazing how we can manage to be patient and kind to others and be so hard on ourselves. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. The reality is that none of us is perfect. So take some baby steps in setting small goals to build your confidence. That's why I keep emphasizing small goals, not big steps. If the question of what if I fail ever shows up again as you take those small steps, answer it and say, if I fail, then one of the things I tell myself is, if I fail, then I have discovered one of the ways of not making it. I am sure that this won't make it, so I have more chances of taking the right turn. So ask yourself those questions and, you know, answer them, and try as much as possible to be clear, because clarity is one of the things that helps you deal with fear of failure. If you're a person of faith, pray. pray. But you just don't need to be, even if you're not even a person of faith. It's been said that words create, okay? But I want to believe that each one of us here has something they believe in. Pray. Prayer works. I will tell you, prayer works. Speak life into yourself. And touch your head and just mention that, or touch your heart and just mention, declare words of life. Speak life into yourself. I am not a person of fear, but I am confident and I am of a sound mind. I take calculative steps whenever I'm going to do something. And even when I fail, I pick myself up. Your brain needs to record that. It needs to know that when you fail, you are no longer so much scared and you rise up. But we can expound more on that in the mentorship or in the club journey. Let me go to the next question for purposes of time. Where is that question from Babili? How do I change careers? What are some of the factors can I consider before changing my career? Okay, one of the factors that I always want to start with, do you want to change? Do you want the change? And how badly do you want the change? If that is the case, how badly do you want the change? What is causing you to want the change? Yeah? What is causing you to want the change? Is it do you want to change out of fear or just out of an inner conviction that is something more to this, that like I was always feeling? I think some time back I was talking with Coach Samuel, and I was telling him when I was running my retail shopping school, I used to find myself in those hours when we're not very active. My shop would be filled up with fellow business owners. And what would I be doing? I am talking to them. I am encouraging them. I'm inspiring them. I'm listening to them. And those were some of the things that kept telling me that, there's maybe find a business, because I love business. Find a business that I can do where I am doing entirely this, not just goods. Okay, so going back to the root cause, I love dealing with root causes because you solve a problem. So as you look at yourself, maybe is the job that you're currently doing, does it utilize your strength? Self-awareness. Does it utilize your strength? If it's not utilizing my strength, what can I do? Is there something I need? Can I switch departments? Can I talk to the HR? Can I switch, maybe a department? Or can I ask for maybe another role? Or can they create for me something that utilizes this? Okay. And if not, have you talked to someone? Have you identified what else you would want to do? Maybe you are, one of the things I thought that I could do from teaching, because I loved numbers, I thought I would try out the tax accounting world. I went and did a postgraduate in diploma in tax and revenue administration. So I tried it out and I never liked it. So find out what next I am currently teaching. What next do I need to do? Find it out. Then find someone who is doing what you'd want to do. And they ask them, so how is it in this field? What can I do if I want to be successful? And so on and so forth. So a few steps there, but we can always expound on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Diana. Those are very comprehensive responses. I'm very sure that each and every single person who asked, or even those who didn't ask but were interested in something of such, have been able to get their answers. How do you switch careers when you're thinking about it? and how do you tackle the fear of failure? A very real fear, but we want to assure you it can be tackled. So ladies and gentlemen, that was Diana Mukaire. And just to let you know, she is one of the mentors she's one of the official mentors of the Transformational Professionals Club. I noticed there's a question on YouTube, and someone was asking, once they've identified the gifts and what breaks our hearts, how do we stay committed on our purpose, especially when challenges and distractions threaten to pull us off course? Now, that is a question that can be best answered once the person is in the mentorship, okay? Because then that person has taken the steps. So I want to invite each and every single one of you to ensure that you are present until the end of the session. There are going to be offers. We're going to be sharing how do you sign up to be a part of the club, to be a part of the ability to be able to benefit from the mentorship that we have here today, and very many other mentors that are not even present on this call today, okay? Maybe Diana, you will let us know in the chat, how can people contact you? Because you said you do very many things. You even do some marriage counseling. Someone might be interested in that, walking that journey. And I believe you would be a very good asset in ensuring that this person benefits from your expertise and that of your family as well, okay? Otherwise, I'd like to, as we prepare for our next speaker, I'd like to encourage you to continue inviting your friends, share the YouTube link or the Zoom link with them, such that they are able to come join in and be able to benefit from even the much more wealth of knowledge that we have coming on. Okay, so please share the links. I see there's a lot of buzz in the WhatsApp group. That is, people are really taking on the lessons. Then when you get a moment, you will see that we are, well, some of us are analog with notebooks, others are leveraging the power of technology very seriously. So I know that this is something that has been very beneficial. So please, ladies and gentlemen, join me once again in sending our virtual hand claps to Diana as we see her off. We shall be hearing from you in the chat on how we can contact you and how we can reach you. Where can we find you in the event that we would like to engage with you some more? For those who know that they are seeking mentorship from Diana, please be aware that she is one of the mentors of the Transformational Professionals Club, and she will be very available once you are able to sign up and be a part of the club. Otherwise, Diana, thank you so much, and we look forward to continuing to interact with you. Thank you so much. Okay, yes, Diana has shared her contact information on the chat, so please ensure that you check it out and you'll be able to reach her in the event that you do want to reach her directly. Thank you so much, Diana. Okay, so at this point, I understand that our time is fast running. We have had a bit of I'd like to call it a working break. Feel free to get yourself a cup of tea or something that you can ensure that refreshes you as we prepare to invite our next speaker. Our next speaker, a very powerful speaker as well. That will be Mr. Brian Yesige, the CEO and founder of Bravo Shoes, and he's going to be sharing with us his entrepreneurship story. A very powerful story, I'm certain, and I'm very sure that a number of us are very interested in understanding how exactly do people really get into entrepreneurship. Sometimes when you listen to people's stories and journeys, it gives you an amazing overview. So Mr. Brian Yesige, I see you on the call. We are very excited to hear from you. And I know that in the first minutes, he will share with us about himself as we get into the session. Mr. Yesige Brian, you are very welcome, sir.
Hi, everyone. I hope I'm very audible. I need just someone to tell me that I'm audible.
You are, Brian.
Great. Thank you so much. It's so amazing that speaking after when the great people have spoken becomes a little bit tough. I enjoyed Diana. Thank you so much, of course, with Samuel. And when Diana told people to close their eyes, in this case, when someone tells you to close your eyes, means that leave the rest of the universe and get back inside you, and then reflect on what you want to be. That's one of the best things. That's why so many people do yoga, or they just check out once in a while to recap themselves. Once again, my name is Jebran Bravo, CEO and founder of Bravo Shoes, a brand that deals in footwear for school, and Bravo Shoes, I mean, shoes for people living with diabetes. And again, founder and executive director of Bravo Shoes Community Support Organization, an independent organization that was born out of the main brand, Bravo Shoes. And this is a different organization. I know so many people have been seeing me online, supporting communities, children. Yes, that's an organization which is a non-profit organization that is fully independent from Bravo Shoes as a brand, but came in place to help work out, the other part of, philanthropy and, compassion for the community. So those are the two different organizations that are in one, but born out of the mother brand. Yes, myself, I know most people have always said that when you talk about when it's somebody is a mentor, or so when somebody is a motivational speaker, they tell you that they started their poultry business with one egg. People don't believe it. But myself, I started my business with 100,000 Uganda shillings. I would call it 300,000, but I say 100,000 because that's the money that I used to buy my few stocks that I began with. And my business started with just a small corner shop, guys. And whenever somebody moves forward to share the story, guys, pick up what you think is resonating with you. And of course, many people, when you told them that you started with 100,000, they say, oh, I have 1 million. How can, and I'm failing to start. How come he says he has 100,000? But I started 100,000 with Bravo many years, guys, many years ago. When I talk about many years ago, I am a senior citizen of the country. I started at the age of 22. Age of 22, of course, the crumbling here and there. That is in the year of, it was on the 15th day, and you can imagine, I don't even forget the day. It is on the 15th of March, 2000. 15th of March, 2000 is the day I started my own small business. That is 24 years ago. Guess what? My start of my small business in a small corner, like as I tell you guys, small corner that I paid my rent 100,000, and it was just two. Those who understand Massa, and I started at the shop at City Center Complex. The shop number was B7, and up to today, it is where I am seated, and it's where I'm communicating with you. It's 24 years ago. Same place, everywhere. Now, along the way, because somebody will say, how do you be in the same place for so many years? Others have accused me, why didn't you buy the building? You should be able to have a capacity to buy the building. Yeah. Everybody has got their own pace, speed, and everybody looks at business in a different way. But at the time I started business is that I chose one thing. I attached a mission, a very clear mission, right from the word go. Because I believe that once you have a clear vision and mission, you're good to go. So my biggest point in this case was my vision. There are two things in life that you have to quote from to get, from me. We have two things. We have desire and we have a vision. Most of us start businesses, start work with a desire, which is okay. I desire to marry a second wife. I desire to marry my wife. I desire to have money. I desire to leave employment. I desire, to be the best. I desire to have more cash, which is perfect. But remember, desire is personal. Desire is personal. I chose to have a vision. A vision is more inclusive. You may ask yourself at that age, how could you have a vision? Maybe it's now that you're getting it. No. Desire is personal. Vision is all inclusive. So when you choose a vision, means you're becoming an entrepreneur who looks at life as a journey and a process. And again, I'll take you back to other things. We have a businessman, businesswoman, and an entrepreneur. I chose to become an entrepreneur. If you choose to become a businesswoman or man, it's a different story. I will speak about being an entrepreneur, which is totally different from being a businessman. It's the reason you see Bravo Shoes as a brand, small brand. I'm not big, guys. I'm going to be big in the next 5 or 10 years. That you see a small brand, Bravo Shoes, has got an organization that supports humanity, that supports children across the country, using my meager resources, with no funders, with nobody that supports my charity, myself. Now, what's the difference between two? I'll give an example. Maybe you can pick from there. During COVID-19, every business shut down. But what business came about? The SOPs, the sanitizers, the Covidex. Covidex was a business that was born out of COVID. During COVID, I received so many calls. And you know what the calls were about? Somebody was calling me, left and right, different people. Say, Bravo, schools are all shut down. No business. How are you going to survive? We have a deal here. We have Covidex. Say, Covidex, the guy, the owner, says it's 6,000. Man, are you aware that Covidex now we are selling it 100,000? I said, wow, that's great. That's interesting. But I told one friend of mine, I said, I've been in business selling shoes. Yes, shoes brand. I put there my name as Bravo. And then people see me switch, maybe a temporary switch, that I'm the person who is buying Covidex at 6,000 and I'm selling it 100,000 Uganda shillings today. At times where people are suffering, at times where people are going through challenges, still you have taken up that business and you're selling same Covidex that is supposed to save lives from 6,000 to 100,000 Uganda shillings. It's a small thing like this. I told two of my friends, I said, I will not go for that business. I'll remain broke until when we can be able to pick up and I start my business again. Today, two more of my friends that made a jackpot on that Covidex, today they are broke. They made money and they're nowhere today. Why am I using this example? An entrepreneur looks at having a vision that is all-inclusive, looks at himself in whatever they are doing, creating value at that moment. A businessman will jump from one business to the other because his primary vision or primary mission actually is to make money, more money. And in that line is where they develop greed, more greed. Even the much money they make, they always die miserable. I am sorry to use this, but they will die miserable. Because you cannot be satisfied with money. Today, you feel you need to make $1,000. Maybe you're making 500. Even when you get 1,000, because you're greedy, you always want to make more. Naturally, I've set myself to avoid 3 human poisons. And these human poisons are all inherent with us. Number 1 is greed, anger, and foolishness. Stroke ignorance. These are things that have taken up humanity, whether you're educated or non-educated. When you accept to be married off by greed, anger, and foolishness, greed means wanting everything for yourself. Even when you go to entrepreneurship or business, because you're greedy, this is the reason you start fighting your neighborhood. This is the reason why you're coming to do business. You look at Bravo. Bravo is doing business of footwear for school. You're like, I'm going to bring down Bravo. So your aim is to bring down me. Your aim is to see how I run out of business. Remember, when I have my vision, I can choose to retract and do my business for the next 5 years, no profit, nothing. And I will wait for you to collapse after 5 years because you've made a lot of money and you'll collapse. Because at that level where you're competing with me, you're bound to make so many mistakes and you're not patient enough. So this is where greed comes in. Even this is where you see greed in the professionals, in your jobs. People being greedy. You cannot train somebody, you think they're going to take over your job. You forget that this small girl or small boy you're training today is the big boss tomorrow. He can even be frustrated and leave the job, go to another company. He's actually a big boss. By the time you get there, they are the ones that are employing you and they're signing for anything. You may frustrate me. Tomorrow, maybe I sit on your board. Maybe before I gave you a job, you came to my workplace, you became a problem, and you left. And I'm the one seated on the board of directors. Maybe you thought me having a small business, you may think I'll not grow. I'll grow and tomorrow I'm the board chair, or I'm the person who's supposed to sign on your letter to get employment somewhere else. So that's the greed I'm trying to talk about. And this greed is inherent in the professionals and even the business community. So when you leave your professional job into the business community, you'll have the same problems. Anger. We are from greed, now we are on anger. Anger is where you feel that anything that does not resonate with you, you solve it with anger. And that's the second poison. And that's the worst. It's where you see people have used anger to resign from their jobs because you feel you're too full of yourself with the ego. And then you take a decision to sign off your resignation and you take off anger. Then you think you're going to bring the same anger into business or the community. Still you fail, even when you are the best performer at your job. Third one, foolishness, stroke ignorance. Guys, you've gone to school, we've gone to school, but fighting ignorance and foolishness, guys, is a daily process. And once you understand that even somebody who has masters, no matter degrees, PhD, they are all inherent with foolishness and ignorance. And they have not done their best to fight all these things. So myself, my journey of entrepreneurship, I have lived on those 3 things to make sure I get rid of them. When I started my business, I was in the business of clothes. I would say I've never been employed, but I would attach myself to employment somewhere where somebody employed me with selling clothes. Until when it was a family business where there was a lot of bickering and everything. You remember, I think you know family businesses in Uganda, where families, when you are not related to them, you are fought. So sometimes you find that most people fight others out because you're not family. So it was a small shop selling clothes. And then I left shortly after that. And I said I needed my 300,000 to begin myself. And when I tell you about the 100,000, how did I do it? When I was working with that friend, I was a very good person. I mean, I could be sent everywhere. So I made a relationship with people around. So how could I, take off at that time with 100,000? Uganda shillings. When I got my shop, when I got to the shop where I was, we were sub-renting. And then we were giving, I know those who understand Uganda, amasa. So I took up my one sa, that one line. I got my 100,000, went to a friend downtown, asked him to help me, give me shirts. That time the shirts were 15,000. Bought them. And I told him that I always have customers. Instead of running down, give me some shirts I display on my store. Guess what? They would give me. I say, I have a customer. Even I lied to them, guys, that I have a customer. I would lie to them, I run to them that I have customers. Just give me some shirts, they choose. I come and display and I sit down. Those days, it was very quick. Maybe even now. So within an hour or two, before you go back, before they give you a call, you already have a customer who has bought one shirt or two. So if I brought 6 and I've sold 2, I tell him, no, I'm waiting for another customer 4. Means that you find that I have stocks. Most of you have visited shops. Let me give you this tactic. Where somebody says, let me go to the store to pick these items. Oh, you need this shirt? Let me go to my store. But how many people own stores? And do you know what it means owning a store? It's very expensive. So as we say, owning a store, going to the store is running to somebody to help you get that shirt, convince a customer, and sell it. That's how I began. And that's how I kept on. But I had that, that urge in me to board a plane. I determined myself that by the year 2002, I should be able to be on my way to Dubai. I wanted to have unique shirts because I knew many people had fake shirts. I knew there are so many good shirts out there, but I wanted to bring out a class, to bring my own class of people that I dealt with. So in the year 2002, 2001 late, I had $500. I had 450 gain for my ticket to Dubai. I got a ticket. I went to Dubai, but I told whoever knew that I was going that I'm going to Dubai. I'm going to bring only 30 or 50 shirts that I know are good quality. They must be able to help me move. That time, there were airlines, Africa One Airline, the Emirates. I went to Dubai, looked for the shop alone. And I will also give you this other thing that is funny in our Uganda and in our lives. I had a friend of mine, 2 of them, that I told that I'm going to Dubai. I asked them to help me out. When they're traveling, we go together. And guess what? One says I don't have money, the other one allowed. So we went together to the travel agent. We booked our tickets, I was ready, and we waited for a flight. That was about in 2 months. So no sooner had I left the travel agent than my friend goes back and then takes out his booking. And he kept quiet. Reason, he didn't want to go with me. And he canceled his booking behind my back. So just few days to the travel, I got to pick my ticket. Ask my agent. The agent says, this person already could not afford and is not traveling with you. Now, I had few days where I could not get anybody to travel with me. I got courage and I said, I have to get on the plane. I went to Dubai, where I've never been, by myself. The good thing I said, I know how to read and I know how to write. I entered Dubai. I saw some few Africans who took me through, got the hotel, and the story was no more. Of course, there are so many challenges I encountered. But guess what? When I returned with my 50 shares through my hand luggage, cleared them, came here, made my sales. After a month and a half, I was already again on the plane. So I'm among people who started bringing, small bags on our plane, on our kilos. They give you about 50 kilos, carry or buy more. And that's how I started my business on a small scale. Later on in 2006, whenever I would travel, I'll make sure I say, what is Toyota and what is Suzuki and what is Mercedes-Benz and what is BMW? So I kept on imagining, are these humans? Are these what? So until when I found out that actually these are humans that are behind these names, I said, I'm going to create a brand. And that brand will take up my third name. In 205, I had to explore going to Istanbul, Turkey. And of course, getting, visas was very complicated because we had to get visas in Nairobi, where I had to go in Nairobi, put in my visa, come back, wait for a whole year to get my visa. I came back. In 206 is where Bravo Shoes was born. I started up small, changing myself from clothes because I wanted to brand clothes, but I realized clothes were very difficult because fashion changes all the time and it needed a lot of money. I went into footwear. At that time, when I started going to Istanbul, there was a very old man who used to make shoes in his corner where we used to live at the hotel and had a son who loved me so much. Now they are big people. And then that some boy he was studying English. So I could not communicate to this man on what I wanted. So the boy would say, let me go to school tomorrow, write to me what you want. I'm going to ask my teacher, then I'll come, and then we translate for my father. The boy did the same, came back to the father's place, and then he could interpret, and I started buying few shoes along my clothes. So later, I say, no, I will not just buy ordinary shoes, I must be a brand. Now, see, my whole vision was to create a brand that is somewhere. So I wouldn't mind how much money, whether I'm making money or not. I wanted just to own a brand, guys. I just wanted to own a brand. With the little money I make, yes. I started growing. Those who follow me on social media have been seeing what I'm doing. Went on social media, used Facebook. I put up the app. I put up the website. I put up everything. Using my little money. Of course, I can't tell you that I wouldn't go to the banks to borrow and everything. I would get money from the bank, for people to borrow me. And I kept on growing. Now, along the way, it doesn't mean everything has been smooth. I am among people that were heavily affected in COVID-19. Remember, I was a school footwear, purely school footwear, that nowhere you would sell a school shoe because our children were all home. But I chose it. I said, this is what I chose to do. I'll have to keep on. Of course, many people say change business. Many people say reduce your shop. Many people say take the things home. Many people say get into your garage. People say get online and cross everything. I said no. I started my business with a mission, with a bigger vision. I must hold my business. It is today, guys, that I'm still standing. That it doesn't mean that I don't have challenges in my business. COVID, we are going to recover from COVID. It will take us 5 to 10 years. And have already set myself to recover myself back within the next 10 years, ever since COVID got done. The damage was too much. We got a lot of loans that became bad. Some of us lost properties, lost everything. But no matter everything you lose, when you're still standing on your vision, it's what keeps you going. It's where even you don't listen to stereotypes. This is where people will think you're a slow mover. Your wife will tell you you're slow. Your husband will tell you, no, you're boring. But myself, what I understand in business or anything in life, success comes after 25, 30 years. You either accept it, it's your choice. Leave alone these days where most professionals are in jobs where they are corrupt. They're stealing money left and right. I want to tell you that even when you get money out of corruption, you don't have the brain to maintain that money. I will be sincere with you. Even when you go and build whatever you build, you leave that job. The day you leave that job is the day you start suffering, no matter how much money you leave with that job, because you did not participate in making that money. Let's talk about family businesses, family values. Most of people have money. Whenever I talk to children, especially when I go to schools, people invite me and I speak to these children. I ask them this small thing. I say, go and ask your father and mother how they made this money and managed to sleep in a house of 600 million or 700 million. Let your father tell you how he made his money. And then first find out how much money does he earn. Is it 5 million? Then tell dad and say, Dad, tell me this 5 million that you're earning. How did you manage to save? And in how many years did you manage to save to put up this house that we are sleeping in? Or to even drive a car of 500 million, 100 million, even 50 million. Now, how do we prepare ourselves? We may have professionals who are trying to transit. Transition means that if you want to transform yourself within where you are, it doesn't mean that if you're in your profession, you must come and sell shoes. Every profession has an element of entrepreneurship, has an element of business. It's unfortunate that we all go to school, but we're not told the other part. Doctors, once you put entrepreneurship part in your profession as a doctor, you will excel. In your profession as an accountant, you're going to excel. In your profession as a human resource, you will excel. As a teacher, you will excel. But the only thing we have is we are locked up in ourselves, and the only clubs or people we deal with are the people of profession. See, me and Samuel, we're in different platforms, but see how we are connected. And how did we connect? I took up something. I said, I'm seeing so many people struggling on Facebook and all these sort of platforms. I am going to put up free training for whoever is going to join me. And guess what I did? I said, if you don't join at 5 a.m. in the morning, I'll kick you out. I started training people at 5 a.m. in the morning. And among the top people who could manage to stay and keep on time is Samuel Ibanda. That he kept on and he could be on time, and he made sure, even with his busy schedule, he managed to make it. But I was doing it free. I've never asked anyone money. I am an entrepreneur where people have consulted me and I say, I'll give it to you free. Come and I show you what to do. Come and organize your Facebook page. Come and I show you what you're supposed to do so that you build yourselves on the platform. There are so many kinds of business we can do. Myself, I'm also venturing online. You can see if you look at my Facebook page, I'm growing it. That in the next few years, Facebook is opening up. And the greatest employer is going to be the internet. We all have what we can put there. We all have what we can sell out. In life, there are two things. You either have a product, sell out, or you have a service, sell out. This is why I can't live the life of merchant, being a merchant. I know if even when I'm broke, somebody will come and buy a pair of shoes and I have some fuel or some food for my family. Because I have something I'm selling out. If you have a service, what are you ready to sell out? Can you have a service you can sell out? Can you sell yourself? Even to people, can you brand yourself? Because it all begins with us. So having money to come into entrepreneurship is not about money. Business is not about money. So many people think that me go to work and get my capital, get my money. You even resign when you're angry. So if you are angry to leave somebody's job, how are you going to handle your own job? When you're not honest, you're greedy, you're corrupting the same job you're at, let me tell you, you're going to be a failure in your business. Why? You're going to be very difficult, very complicated. because you think your employees are going to do the same thing you used to do at your job. And in this case, you find that you're even failing. And that's why people leave jobs, go into entrepreneurship, and they fail. If you're a receptionist and you could not have the guts to handle the customers you receive for your boss's job, you're arrogant, you're greedy, guys, name it. Do you think when you get self-employment, you do the best? Some of us, even when I have employees, I dress children's shoes, I'll deliver to customers, I'll talk to them, I'll do anything, and I don't give a damn. Because a customer is a boss to me. Whether a customer believes they have more money than you, yes, they have more money because they have brought money to you. Some of you think, you say, they think they have more money than my business. The arrogance and the ego comes in. So in this case, look at how you're practicing yourself at the current job. It will determine your success in your job. That will determine your success in your job. So myself, I come from a place where I used to be liked by so many people. When I started selling clothes, my boss was, angry at me, became issues there. He wanted to chase me, sent me to a place he thought I would not manage, into a small restaurant. And guess what? Maybe I've not told you. That restaurant started selling beer at night. So we were selling some little chips. And again, I was selling beer in the night from 7 o'clock at Wilson Road there. I was selling. Myself, in Kampala, before I got that small job, which I will also tell you guys, I was hawking newspapers, the old newspapers. Where I used to say, my neighborhood, I have a friend who would used to come with papers all the time. So I would pick them from him and I would go and sell them to cheapot sellers in Makindye. I would hawk these same ones in Makindye and sell these newspapers to people, to guys who make chapatis and mandazis. And this is my story. And this is Makindye here, guys. So being a hawker is part of me. So that's why I can easily deliver to customers. So you undress yourself with your degrees, with your classes, my dear. Life is not about the degrees you have. And when you learn that education is very good, guys, very important. But guess what? Education will give you everything. But the world will teach you more 1,000 times than what your education taught you. If I'm to ask most of you guys, most of you, now you may look empty. Why? Because you started the things. When you came to the world, things are totally different. Even the applicable methods you're having right now are what you've learned from school. I mean, from the world. I have allowed the world to teach me. And I respect everybody who knows something I don't know. Anybody who does something that you don't know is actually better than you in that line. But we can pick up and learn from them. Most of you have these Mercedeses, the cars you have, you love, you buy it expensively. When the car gets a problem, the person who works on your car never went to school. He doesn't even know English. But he's the one who is sorting your car. You as a doctor and you as a professional. What does it mean? He has a skill he learned and he understands. By the time Samuel told me to handle this, I was in the States. I came back on the 2nd of December. I'd been in the States for about 5 months. I am always in and out of Uganda just to learn. In the US, everybody is taking up college. Colleges that are more practical. Even when you leave this country and go to the United States, they don't understand. They don't even want to know what you studied. You go back and get certificates from them because they want to train you in their kind of system. Means that we'll always run into getting mastered and everything. We leave the basics. The basics are within our environment. Me, whenever I travel, I learn. I learned branding while I was out of the country. Guys, I will tell you this. I have been to Mercedes in Germany, that is in the Bavarian region, Munich. I have been to BMW. I know the story of BMW. I know the story of Mercedes. Okay. I know the story of Liebe, the largest manufacturers of cranes in the whole world. I know the story of Bayern Munich. I am not a football fan. I don't like football and I don't watch football. But I went to Bayern Munich. That club, why did I go? To find out how these guys run football. And I realized that most of the football clubs are owned by Arabs. I also learned that even a footballer is actually a product. He's an item for this owner of this football club. That's why they switch them. They sell them or buy them off. That's their product. I learned that in the essence of you having a service or product to sell is very vital, because whenever you travel, professionals actually have chances of traveling. But whenever you travel, what do you learn? What do you envision? What do you pick up from these countries? Myself, I chose to understand what branding is all about. And then I realized all brands have foundations. And I have sat with different people to understand, why are foundations made? It's the reason why I started Bravo Shoes Community Support Organization. When I was asking government to give me an NGO license, I did not suffer, because they had seen me do this kind of work as a person. So I was trying to create more value for my business by making sure that not only I'm looking at profiting, but the little profit that I get, I share it with my community. And I know that it's a journey that I have to enjoy. So entrepreneurship is a process, is a journey, and that gestation period, it's enjoying. Enjoy the bad things, enjoy the good things. Pay gratitude to the bad things that have happened to you, and pay gratitude to the good things. Most of you, when you get money is when you celebrate. Even when you get challenges, celebrate. Even when somebody relieves you of your job, be happy that you have lost your job and start up a mind of creating something. So when you have that positive mindset, guys, you will never suffer. That's why we will not be egoistic. That's when you will approach Diana. That's when you approach Samuel. That's when you approach Hanifa. That's when you approach anyone, Kagaba, Mr. Kagaba, and then ask them on how you can make things. When we talk about mentorship, most people may not understand what mentors are. A mentor is someone besides you, means they are taking you through. And should you allow to be mentored, also have a listening mind and allow to be mentored. Mentors are not just people who are just born anyhow. Mentors are special people that come in place to mentor you. Mentors are people who have sacrificed themselves to mentor people in this world. They are special people. So let's understand that. My parting shots, I don't want to take much of your time. My story is too long, guys. I'll speak up tomorrow. I would like you to understand this, okay? I would like you to understand this. I'm going to give an example. You see Cafe Javas? Cafe Javas is one of the greatest brands. But some of us, when we go to Cafe Javas, we learn. There's something I learned many years ago when I went to Sheraton in the year 2002. I ordered for fish in Sheraton. And that fish was, I don't know, my taste maybe was bad, or I was a very champion. That time I was still, little money, I want to go to Sheraton. And I didn't like the fish. And I called the manager and they completely changed the fish. I said, oh, a big restaurant, a big hotel, they took away the fish. I learned something on that day, and it is in my mind. Now, let me take you to Cafe Javas. Let's learn from things that are within Uganda here. I would want to tell you what Cafe Javas product is. If I ask most of you, I want you to answer me. Guys, let's participate. What is Cafe Javas, and what's the product of Cafe Javas? I know most of you have gone to Cafe Javas. Write down, I want to pick it. Tell me, what is Cafe Javas product? I need answers, just quickly. Chicken, consistent food taste, great service, great food and ambience, ice cream, If you have been to Cafe Java's, great experience, large portions, good food across the branches and great customer care. Milkshake, wonderful. Food hub. Wonderful. Now, this is the product of Cafe Java's. Cafe Java's has got good food, milkshake, as people have mentioned it. You know, everything people have mentioned. But most people have mentioned the items, okay? I call them items that Cafe Java's has. Now I'm going to show you the product of Cafe Java's. When you enter Cafe Java's, somebody receives you at their point of entry, hands over the menu, and greets you. After that, the waiter or waitress comes to you, asks you for whatever you need. Your order in 10 minutes or less is delivered. They have delivered the item that you ordered for, comes onto your table. Now, in less than 5 minutes or so, somebody delivers the product to you. And what is that product? A supervisor, a manager comes to you and asks you, how is the food? Do you like it? Do you like the coffee? Do you like whatever you've ordered? Now, the manager is the one who delivers the product of Cafe Java's to you. And it's the product that keeps taking you to Cafe Java's. You remember, guys, when Cafe Java's got a problem of the mice? To be sincere, that was, I would call it the truth. There are mice everywhere. The rats are everywhere. These small rats, they're everywhere. In the kitchens in Kampala, nobody should lie you. That rat may have jumped into the milkshake. It can happen. But you know what happened? Because Cafe Java's has got a product, that this product is hard to beat. People came in to defend the product of Cafe Java's by hitting down the person who complained. Can that business of yours have a product that everyone will come to defend you? It's why it is difficult to take over Cafe Java's in Uganda. Because most of us Ugandans, we are not patient, we don't learn, we are always looking for money. And we are aiming at the product. It's me who has the best shoes. It's me who has this. It's me. Where would they get them? Where would they? Do you finish them? You've gone to shops where they ask you, go be marao. So this is where a certain business comes in, very unique, but for them, they concentrate on the product and they will never fall short of their product. And that's the difference between an item and a product. So a product is what comes with the item, with the service you're providing with your clients. I hope I'm very, very clear. And with these examples, I'm able to share my story. So Bravo Shoes is located at City Center Complex, first floor B6. I sit at B9. That's my boardroom where I sit. And that's where I do my work. For the past 24 years, guys, it's not been easy. I have gone down, I have gone up. Because when you're learning to ride a bicycle will bring you down. And again, you'll come up. It's only a fool who vows never to ride a bicycle again. I read a book by Robert Kiyosaki. He started at 9, failed at 9, succeeded at 9. What does that mean? You start, you fail, you start, you fail until you take off. My last words again. Sorry to take much of your time. Colonel Sanders is the founder of KFC, who started at the age of 65. Colonel Sanders had retired from the army. Colonel Sanders started in 1932. He sold his franchise after 1952. That is in 1952. At that age, he was around 87. KFC, the founder, Colonel Sanders, passed on so many years ago. He died. KFC is still standing. And who is the owner of KFC currently? It is PepsiCo globally. So see how the person started at the age of 65. Some of you, you say, I am old. Some of you, I am too old. Guys, myself at my age, I am soon turning 47 years. I am still on the journey. And I'm looking at myself that the greatest success I'm going to have, I'll be hitting my age of 60. My last born baby is 16 years. And I all have 2 sons. What does it mean? I still have about 20 years to begin. When I look at Colonel Sanders, who started at the age of 65, me, I started early. So I am still building that when I reach the age of 65, I am going to kick off. I'll be the greatest. And that's how I've made my vision bigger. So at your age, guys, you can start. Only you have to undress yourself, the ego, take yourself out with your egos. There's a lot of ego that is engulfed around our books, our big books, our degrees. And what is ego again, guys? Ego is a self-false identity of who we are not. Self-false identity of who we are not. If you're among people, ask people, do you know who I am? If you're in that category, do you know who I am? Then you're in the wrong platform. If you're a person who thinks that anybody, your books, you are the most intelligent in this world, then you also have a problem. Because where the world is going, you're 30 years. Most jobs are saying 25 to 35. You have 5 years. You're 35. Most jobs want between 25, 35. And they are more educated than you and more younger with no problems. You have 1 child, 2, 3, you're a liability to my company. How I can choose to keep you in my company with your liabilities is when you're good, that you have accepted to work, and also know it's a process that when you finish working with me, you can start yours. But when you become a problem, it is easier for me to take you off because they are younger children who have no children. If I give him a small car, he will see success. If I was paying you 1 million and I give them the same million, they'll even be willing to work for it for the next 4 years. So guess what? As you're talking about me increasing your money, and yet you are not also behaving right, the chances of me firing you are so high. Guys, I'm not undermining your books. I am only telling you that time will come, you must leave your employment. But when you have that mind of, transiting very well and accepting to be in such clubs here and understanding that people can mentor you, definitely you will not be the same than those who have not joined us. So this is my small story, and this is what I can give to this group of people. I don't know how many, 48. And I would like to appreciate you for joining in. And I will always be here to support whoever wants to support. And I'll give you free information. I give information, guys. But we can always, have the best in whatever we do. So thank you so much, guys. It's a pleasure. I think there's no question. If you have the question, I can always answer it later because I've taken much of my time. But I believe there's nothing in question. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Yesige. Please, I'd like to request the audience to join me in sending those virtual hand claps. You have done justice to sharing your story. You have really got us thinking. Personally, I was reflecting a lot. And when you started asking, what is your product? I needed to take some air in to ask myself, surely, what is the product? What is the product? What are you selling at the end of the day? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Brian. You have really shared with us the realities of business. I can tell you and everyone here for free that also as a business owner, my husband and I own a business, it's a mini supermarket. But I can tell you, before we started, we always thought business is easy. Business is, we just see people doing business and they seem to be rich. They seem to be, making money. But I can assure you that that journey has humbled us as a family. And that is the thing about business. You have to strip yourself of that ego, like you said. You need to get rid of greed because you cannot grow if you're greedy. There's a lot of reinvestment. You have to get rid of anger, foolishness, ignorance. You have to keep on educating yourself. And that is why the people who are on this call have really learned a lot from you, from just looking at your journey, seeing the level of resilience that you employed in your journey to get you to where you are today. And you are still very humble to say you have not yet started. Makes us wonder, when are we starting the journey where we have not yet started, so that we can get to a point to actually begin. So thank you so very much. We've honestly learned a lot. It's so true. Personally, I've really learned when you say that success comes after 25 to 30 years when it comes to entrepreneurship, and the difference between having business and being an entrepreneur. Understanding that entrepreneurs solve problems. Business people look for money, but entrepreneurs solve certain problems. So that is something that is so valid when we're thinking about transiting. For those who are thinking about transiting, it is so valid. So thank you so much, Mr. Brian. We really appreciate that. I don't know if there are any questions. But just to let you know, as I look at the appreciation messages, yes, I see one of our mentors, Madam Diana, is talking about how she now has a new way of looking at her product. And she says, thank you so much for that inspiration and insightful message. Humphrey says, this is great advice. Nothing beats mentorship and learning from those who have practiced. Thank you so very much. Philip says, Mr. Brian, you've really empowered us to the extent of even bringing out what some of us thought of doing in the future and even what we are going through right now. So you've really spoken to hearts, people who are thinking of certain entrepreneurship journeys and looking for ways that they can succeed through it. That was really powerful. Thank you so very much. If you have any questions for Mr. Yesige, please feel free to share them in the chat. I believe that he will share his contact details as well, but this is to let you know that Mr. Yesige is also one of the mentors of the Transformational Professionals Club. So please ensure that you remain present with us such that you can know how best you can be a part, sign up, and then go ahead to benefit from his expertise. Yes. But Mr. Yesige, I think you'll share some details. Some people are asking if they can have appointments with you, if that's possible. So kindly share that with us. Thank you. Maybe just a question for those who might be listening. Sometimes people, like you've talked about the number of years. And sometimes, again, like I asked Madam Diana, sometimes people really question and they say they worry about that transition. Sometimes people prefer the comfort zone of staying in their maybe in employment or staying in positions where they don't have to, maybe get rid of all these different human poisons, the greed, the anger, the ego. They always want to be in a place where they feel elevated. And maybe just to ask you, are there certain changes you feel you made within you when you were getting into this entrepreneurship journey, certain characters or traits that you had to learn as an individual? Or was it a smooth transition? Was your character already well formed for that field? Thank you so much.
Does this go to me or to Diana?
No, this is for you. For you.
Okay. Like as I said, I will not say that I was employed really. But yes, I still say I was employed for a short time. But me, I've been a Mutembe, like as I told you guys. Character shaping is very, very important. And it works a lot on us. I'd also tell you that money takes you everywhere, guys. Money is good. Let me tell you guys, when you're broke, it's a problem. Money is good and money takes you everywhere. Whenever you arrive, they say, oh, Mugaga too, say Mugaga ze. I know, Even in your peers, you guys, even when you buy small beer for them or some little food somewhere, they say Mugaga too, say money takes you everywhere. But guess what? A name takes you more further than where money takes you. A name takes you more further than where money takes you. Where you arrive and people are able to recognize who you are because of the deeds they're doing, because of how you conduct yourself, because of where business is. I always, my small people, but I'll share this with you again. There is no embassy. There is no embassy in the world that has ever refused me a visa. In this world, I have never been refused a visa anywhere. And I have never even submitted my bank statement or my documents in an embassy for visa. You may not believe this, guys. No embassy have put even a bank statement. But even when I would be required to put my bank statement, I would put a zero bank statement. And I would get my visas and I travel out of the country and I come back. I am among people who have told people, never leave your country. Travel and go and see and learn and come back. It is only in Africa where being black is not a crime. And it's the reason why we come here and tell people, say, guys, let us improve and help people to improve. We build our country. Everywhere we go, it's a very big problem. Many people are suffering out of this country. Character building, if I go back to your question, is very important. There are things I needed to change. There are things I needed to copy. Copying, guys, is very good. Please copy, copy, and copy. The only problem is, are you ready to sustain the copy? If you're copying me as a smart man, are you ready to all the time be smart at my level? If you're copying Diana, how she's doing her work, are you ready to sustain that copy? If you're doing it not out of love of what you're doing, still it will fail. Copy, shape, and be better. If you're not ready to sustain the copy, don't go for the copy. That's it. Copy the character, copy being good. You can copy being good, guys. You can choose to become better. Actually, in life, there are no bad people in life. There are only miserable people and happy people. So people who are miserable are the ones who are causing trouble for others. Even you, when you have your weaknesses, you're only miserable. And the misery you're going through is that you're lacking happiness in your life. A topic of happiness, I will discuss it because it is wider. One time, if I ever come back here, I'll take it up as a topic of being happy, even amid these problems and amid these challenges. That will be another topic of another day. So you can adapt to new things. You can adopt new things. You can put in things that you always can copy from Mr. Bonnie, from Diana, from anyone. But the issue is